The way we communicate has changed significantly over the last decade, with the advent of social media and more advances in technology. This undoubtedly has changed the way we interact with each other. So, how has technology affected interpersonal relations? Has it brought people closer together, or has it pushed us further apart?
The main reason they came up with these types of forms of communications is because it's efficient. You could now talk to somebody more often or frequent who's overseas or who was far away. You know, perhaps if you're in Kingston and you're in the country, you could talk. So it was for the efficiency, increased efficiency. However, we saw some spillovers and some spin-offs. Persons started doing all types of different things, some good and some bad, via these things.
It's pretty safe to say that most Jamaicans have at least one cell phone. And with this comes increased privacy, and therefore a change in how most people negotiate relationships.
Persons could be more discreet in their communication. If you're sending text message, formerly when it was landline, whatever you're talking, you have to cover your head with the pillow to talk. Sometimes you wouldn't bother to talk because persons were around you. But when you can now send a text message via cell phone, it's very private. Nobody knows what is going on. But in terms of intimate relationships, persons have the freedom to know, have more privacy in their communication. You can send email, you can send text messages. Nobody needs to know what's going on. So there's a greater level of flirting, if you want to put it that way, for intimate relationships, which can be good and can be bad.
Nice to meet you.
Did you know you're now more likely to meet your future spouse online dating than at bars, parties, and other social events combined?
So, is social media healthy for relationships?
Some persons have maintained relationships via the internet, social networks and dating websites and so on, and very fruitful in terms of some persons actually go on to get married, you know, blind date, because they will live out the fantasy. Sometimes the fantasy is better than the reality, and the fantasy keeps them in love, keeps them interested. But more importantly, what do they do when they meet each other in person? So it facilitates the beginning of a relationship.
The clinical psychologist theorizes that people usually spend a lot of time in cyberspace because it's easier to create a fantasy there and impress people.
We all, as human beings, have fantasies about what we'd like to be, or you call it ambitions, about what we'd like to be or to become. We use every medium possible to try and achieve those goals. Do I want to be somebody who's recognized? We all know it's how important it is for us to feel as though we're recognized, we're wanted, that persons around us care about us. That's the very thing that keeps our existence important to us. Am I important? Am I important to anybody? And definitely Facebook provides the avenue for that. You could put up your status and in the morning, everybody reads it for the day. You know, I'm feeling well today, things are going well with me. And everybody comments. That's nice. That's just an avenue that we use to remind us that we're very important in this life.
With possibly thousands of friends on our Facebook page and hundreds on our BlackBerry messengers, the psychologist says it's all about increasing the odds to find that perfect friend.
Not only is it a numbers game, but it's a chance game. If I have accepted, 500 friends on Facebook, what are the chances that I might find love, I might find money, I might find wealth, I might find a perfect friend? The perfect friend is one click away, just waiting. And so persons have that type of fantasy, that type of hope that, I might make a good friend on Facebook.
The clinical psychologist claims that for some people, social networks offer a great level of socialization safety.
So for some persons, Facebook is heaven. It's easier to meet somebody on Facebook than to meet somebody out on the road. I don't have to be worried that when I'm trying to make a friend, other persons will see when I get bullied or shaved. It doesn't happen like that. I can send a private message to say, would you like to be my friend? The person either says yes, no, and I go again. I have hundreds more that I can just do the same to. It's quite easy to make friends that way. And some persons have been making all their friends that way. And so it's not time yet to step back. Perhaps it's just the beginning of a new type of socialization.
Different studies have suggested that despite many people having thousands of friends on Facebook and other social networks, we can only maintain meaningful, healthy relationships with just over 100.